Hello, you're watching Nexus TV. I've just come back from Mobile World Congress with a couple of shiny things, specifically the Google Nexus One and the Nokia N900, and I thought I'd tell David all about them.
Excellent.
So here's Google Nexus One. One of the reasons I'm talking to you is because I know you're an iPhone and a BlackBerry user, and I think these two need to be compared to those. The Nexus One's just a touchscreen phone, as opposed to having a QWERTY slide-out keyboard or anything like that. It runs on the Qualcomm Snapdragon chip, so it's nice and quick. But the big thing that struck me straight away about it is the access to the Google Cloud services, things like Gmail, all the other things you might get on your iGoogle, like the RSS or whatever. You can also post up to a Blogger blog really easily on it, and all that sort of thing. So I've been having a little play with it. I just thought I'd show you a few things. As you can see, we get a nice little sort of graphically fun interface there.
So some geek somewhere programmed that thinking they'd made it, and they have.
I've got to say one thing actually, it's not doing it right now, but when I first got it, this started sort of freaking out a little bit.
Really?
So I don't know what the problem was there, but it sorted itself out, so no big issue there. So you can get easy access to a browser, and then just go back like that. You can get easy access to the Android market, which I found has got actually a surprisingly large number of apps in it, considering it's been running less time than the Apple App Store. Obviously all the other sort of functionality, and you can get onto all your apps iPhone style just by going there. There's some good, just to show off the graphics, I thought I'd show you this little driving game. As you can see, it's got quite cool sound, and it's using the accelerometer to steer and all that sort of thing. So I've got to admit, my son's already been having some fun with this. So in summary, I think the reason this thing exists isn't necessarily because I think Google expects to take on the iPhone directly with this handset, although I think it's quite a big shot across the bows for Apple, and the two companies are getting increasingly competitive. But I think it's to showcase everything that Android can do and everything that Google can do with its cloud services. So I'll ask you what you think of that in a sec, but I'll move on to the Nokia N900. So this is running a Texas Instruments OMAP 3430 chip. One thing that's quite interesting about this, I haven't seen this on any other handsets, it actually says ARM Cortex-A8 on the back. And seeing as there's going to be a growing battle between ARM and Intel, have you freaked it out? There we are, I told you. In the sort of smartphone SoC sort of space, it's interesting that we're starting to get some ARM branding there. The other thing that's unique about this is it uses the MIMO rather than the Symbian operating system, which is Nokia's own Linux-based operating system, which, funnily enough, they're now going to merge with the Intel Moblin one to make MeeGo. What's good about this, I've found that I like the QWERTY keyboard. I like the fact that you can have several screens going at once. I found the audio, funnily enough, is pretty good. It's got stereo speakers. What I've found a little bit disappointing has been that right now for MIMO, the Ovi store doesn't have very many applications. Although you can get excellent things like the SatNav application. I've also found battery life-wise, even if I leave this on standby with the screen just black, it still starts beeping for me to recharge it about every other day, which came as a bit of a surprise, but maybe I need to turn a few things off. So that's that. I just want to know, based on your use of various smartphones, what your first impressions of these are.
My first view on the Nexus One is, obviously I saw the launch back in January. I was quite excited about this phone. I still am, I think. The interface is very similar to using an iPhone.
Right.
Obviously it's got a bit of a twist on it. A little bit confused why it's got a ball button on it when you can just use your finger on the screen.
Yeah, it's sort of double.
It seems a bit strange there to me. And I'm not sure I like these buttons at the bottom.
Why is that?
It's more things to press effectively. I don't understand why it can't be integrated into the screen.
You like the simplicity of the iPhone one?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I think this one here, for example, looks great that you've got the whole thing, just a plain screen. You know, I think it's a good thing. I know you've got some buttons around the edge, but certainly it makes it a nicer thing to touch and play with. I'm also a little bit nervous about having everything reliant on Google.
Yep.
But that's just me being cynical and negative.
No, I'm nervous because you want to nick this off me, and it's got all my Gmail on there, and you can see all the stuff I've been writing to my missus and all that sort of thing.
But your communication with your wife, right, is down to you and her. We've all heard you on the phone, okay? But overall, I think it's kind of cool. I love the screen on it. I'd like to see what the screen's like in daylight, because I'm a bit nervous about how washed out it'll look, but that's the problem with OLED screens.
Yep.
But it seems responsive. It's fast for sure. I think you're right. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Google and Apple fight each other going forwards. I did hear actually that they're looking to change the search on the iPhone to being Bing as opposed to being
so that more
Google.
sort of political argy-bargy going on there.
So,
and out of the two of them, which of them one's grabbing you more?
Well, I like this one a lot because it's a simple interface on it. This one here I think has got a lot of potential, but it's definitely not aimed at someone like me.
Right.
I don't like the QWERTY keyboard sliding out.
Okay.
I'd much prefer the on-screen keyboard where I can type like that. But both of them are missing the one thing that I use a lot of, which is obviously BlackBerry Mail.
Okay.
I don't know whether I can have the same push email on now with
from Gmail, but not necessarily from Exchange.
Exchange. If I don't have it from Exchange, then it's pretty much I don't want to press send and receive. We don't use that on our mail clients anymore. We've kind of all moved on from there. But overall, I think they're interesting devices, and certainly the segmentation in the smartphone market will continue. And certainly, if you think about it, the four major players are Apple, Nokia, Google, RIM. I haven't said Windows for a reason, because up until now, it's always been a case of a promise from Microsoft of what's coming next is going to be really great. And up until the announcement of Windows 7 Phone series or whatever they're calling
Phone 7 series,
no one really sat there and went, oh, that's cool, I want it. But
Yeah.
it's interesting. I met with Microsoft on the same day that was happening at MWC. And they were buzzing over it. They're really excited about it.
It looked pretty cool. It looked pretty cool.
So I think that's what we need to do. We need to see a device from them before we can sort of say the market's sewn up by any one player. But certainly it's great for consumers, everyone fighting.
Okay, so in summary, are you going to trade in your BlackBerry and your iPhone for these two or not?
I might have them as well. I'm not saying we're going to trade in anything at all. So thanks for picking these up for me, Scott. Much appreciated.
No problem. All right, we'll leave it at that. Okay, you've been watching Scott and David on Hexus TV. Join us for the next one.